Oh, right. What's up, you guys? I'm going to try to do another video here. Um, First of all, I'm going to touch on another video touching on some of these idiots on YouTube, these religious idiots. But I'm not going to make the video entirely about that, but it's a good part of it. And a couple of things at once anyway. Just spit out my thoughts. But anyway, I saw one of Henry Rollins' videos. Well, actually, it's somebody posted with Henry Rollins' picture and made the video of part of Henry Rollins' uh, spoken word CD called Everything. And some of them tracks, I think they get blocked by YouTube or whatever. So whatever's there, people still have up or whatever. But anyway, what I'm saying, this is relevant. One of the commenters on there, it was some chick made a comment on there about how he spits out his thoughts, and it's actually, well, if you go over there and type in Henry Rollins Everything, there's 2 tracks from that particular CD that are up there without YouTube managed to delete it. But she's talking about how he spits out his thoughts and putting what he's saying down, trying to dismiss and degrade what he's saying. Uh, I'm like, the hell with you, woman. What's wrong with anybody spitting out their thoughts? Anyway, this is what I'm doing. But anyway, there's not just the Vigilant Christian, and a couple of other ones. So many of them out there that are saying how yoga is evil, satanic, and all that crap, and it leads to evil. Everything from it's you're calling upon energies inside your body that's demonic and all that happy horse shit. But yeah, this is not going to be just about yoga too, but this is a part of it. But yeah, debunking their stupid ass theories over there, I'm laughing my ass off. It's like, yeah, you want to be weak, submissive, and obedient, and they come on YouTube and think they run things. They, if anything else, I think they have something against anybody getting smart and strong or whatever. And I told that to my mother, actually, and she called it, quote, garbage talk or crazy talk. And a matter of fact, I'm going to spit out some thoughts anyway, too. Some people that know me that actually watch my videos and stuff like that, too, that, yeah, I had other comments, like other cards that people play. I want to talk about other cards that people play besides the satanic thing. About, yeah, one of my mother's other favorite cards. Oh, yeah, if you're putting that on there, your stepdad is old. They fight with each other, because she's always talking down about him when she's mad at him, talking about him to me back when I was still living there. But then, you was playing that card on me and bring him into it like he's a victim, like he's old and we don't need no police coming to your door. If somebody decides that what you're doing is, quote, inciting violence, I mean, we're gonna we're gonna just put our weight sets away in our punching bags, and everybody on YouTube should quit training in anything and showing it on YouTube because, we might be inciting violence and we're going to be just walking on eggshells and too scared to it might be against the law card. And hey, the same walking on eggshells is like you'd get in home or you're married to the wrong person and you can't say or do anything wrong. But yeah, compared to my mother, my stepdad is argue like very seldom, once in a blue moon, it would be some stupid shit that one time me and him got our wires crossed, and it's like, I know he ain't even really like that, and he wouldn't start such an argument with me. I could see right away that was somebody else talking. I got mad at him first, and I got into this big fight with him, yelling and all that. Well, anyway, he tried to tell me once, what I'm doing on there. Well, he doesn't even know a damn thing about the internet, but I'm surprised he knew a little bit about a cell phone, even more than my mother, until my mother actually caught up to being able to use the cell phone. But anyway, he tried to tell me, it's training to kill people and all that, and it's against the law. It's terrorism. And militarizing. I kid you not. And I said, yeah, a lot of people, as far as having guns, there's that issue about guns too. That yeah, there are people that do that shit and all that. But I'm like, I knew that. I'm like, I know that damn well that ain't you talking. And I said, what's the difference between that and fighting for the rights to have guns and all that? And it's the same damn thing. Were you gonna act like have people afraid to and they're gonna ban guns, and then well, you're gonna ban everything else in your house too, and maybe some. And then he gets mad because I'm like all smart and all that, and instead of answering the question, he goes out of nowhere, I don't need no gun to kill people, blah, 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 blah. I said, I didn't say anything about you needing no gun to do it. That's irrelevant. Where did you come to play in this? You're the one that accused me of, that stuff and all that. And I says, I know right away that ain't you talking. I says, that's, yeah, like you ever hear, have somebody that doesn't even argue that shit with you, but when they do, like all of a sudden one day out of the blue, because you're talking about something you're doing, you get mad at them first. You ever have it happen to you and says, wait a minute, that's somebody else talking. Like you might have a similar conflict that I was talking about, right? And you would say to yourself, wait a minute, that's so and so talking. I know right away. Yeah, that had those conversations, and my mother was like, "Oh, you're inciting violence." But I remember a few years back when I was still living over there, I'm doing like a one-fisted knuckle push-up on I was using a book one time, one of my thick computer books, and all that stuff too. But she was already in a bad mood about some shit. I heard some yelling, whether she was mad at my stepdad or whatever. And she comes up there, not mad at me about anything. That looked like she was mad at me about this. She sees what I'm doing, and she stands there with this dirty ass look on her face, and just stares, with those eyes, and says, out of nowhere, we're gonna turn that fucking internet off, right? And started talking all kind of other random bullshit and telling me what I better be doing, and then I usually make videos. Well, we all have our room, our own TV, and all that different stuff. I got 5 rooms up there and all that stuff too at the time before I changed my location. But there was one. I'd get comments like that with these dirty ass looks, and it's like, because they'll accuse you of inciting violence. They're okay about it sometimes, but then they'll turn around when they're in a certain mood and try to say, what you're doing is inciting violence and blah blah blah. And she was like one of them ones that cigarette an ashtray, right next to the Holy Bible, and cigarettes come first, in the budget before you pay the bills and all that junk. But anyway, yeah, I got a statement before, before you be putting shit on the internet, you better be blah, 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 doing this, that, and some things that they accused you of not doing, or that you usually go ahead and do that weren't done yet, that are actually a courtesy, and they act like they're entitled, and all that shit. That, whatever little chore you usually agree to do, and you promised to do it. I'm just talking about some of the stuff that's, family members, if you did that, It's like my grandmother, I ain't going to talk about grandparents. I don't know what they would think about this, but my girlfriend's been pretty supportive about this, and even it was in one of the videos, but it was basically a demo, which I was going to talk about later. But I'm basically touching on here the cards that people want to play. And then there was people in workplaces, some of them support what you're doing, and others, they're talking about, they'll say one thing or another too, that about who the hell do you think you are, or try to use some other shit you think you're really going to need to be able to do that? What are you training to do that for? But So I'm going to do a video later on about, some of the things that I'm advocating, which, the people were pissed about. And, it is a platform I use there. And I spoke of this very sloppily in one of the videos that I was doing a demo with the girlfriend in the video, where she was holding up one of my steel rods over there, and she trusts me, and I smack it real hard with another heavy metal instrument. And it's another thing that I wanted to use and advocate to debunk feminism, and so women can't be the victim and all that crap. And so I can flip some of them off, you know what I mean? And it is a part of some of the essential things that you see a lot of women in MMA sports and American Ninja Warrior, you know what I mean? And looking at that stuff already debunks what the feminism are saying. And the reason why I brought up feminism is there because there was a little bit of that. And maybe if you lived in a house and maybe your mother or somebody is, even though they have religion in there and cigarettes next to the Holy Bible, and they're the ones that always have the money carrying around in their purse like it's theirs, and then they want to control everything that you think to, even do as I say, not as I do. And one of my cases, whether it's sometimes at home, you're going to get this, and if you're still living at home, and in some workplaces, you're going to have some coworkers and people above you that like what you're doing or think of who the hell do you think you are, or because there's a reason for that, like, which my own mother actually called it garbage talk or crazy talk, but it's a part of what, it's an expanded version of what if you check out a YouTube video, George Carlin, the little snippet about the American dream, that my version of his statement is that as far as, the physical strength things that I'm preaching and the ritualistic incremental exercise, which I'm going to do a video explaining that, which I talked about sloppily on the video I told you about with my girlfriend in, but my version of that is that people want obedient workers, whether it's some of your family members, except for you guys watching this, that you have family members that have good common sense to support people being strong, whether it's for sports or whatever other reason. But a lot of people that don't like what you're doing, whether it's family members or coworkers, those ones who do not, as opposed to the ones that do, believe that, and some of them in religions too, like the Vigilant Christian and these asshole religious people on YouTube. That applies to them too. They, along with family members and along with some of you people in workplaces, and the people that I did a video about too, that there's even on a job application about you think being good with your fist important, do you think you should always have to defend yourself, and yada yada, which are very unconstitutional questions, but reasonable to prevent workplace violence. But most of these people, they want control, they want obedient workers, people strong and smart enough for you to do what they want you to do, but weak and dumb enough to just sit there cringing. You have that slouch that you're cringing to the one's authority over you. And like I said, it's like being at home. Say if you're some guy watching this now and you're married to some woman that turned into a real idiot after you married her, and it's like, I say that she wants you to be strong, or her mother or anybody living at home. Say, for example, if they want you strong and smart enough to be able to go on that roof with wash windows or do the roof right and shit like that, which is dangerous. But anything else you do to better yourself, that's dangerous, or it's a waste of time, or what certain family members tried to tell me too, which, hey, you go on a bench press, that's dangerous, or legitimate weight sets, it's dangerous. I wanted to slip that in too. One of the other cards is that you might get hurt doing that card. Because I want to slip that in real quick and remind you of that you might get hurt doing that card. And then when you disagree, I'm like, you just get better at it. And when you rebuttal that, it's like, shut up, you get on my nerves, you little son of a bitch. You smart mouth son of a bitch, how dare you disagree with me? And it's like, yeah, I want to slip that in there too, because playing that card, because yeah, that you might get hurt doing it is part of it, because I'm making my case here where, um, yeah, if you're some guy watching and your wife says that to you, or your mother says that, or anybody, that it's progressive feminist control rhetoric, and then there's other men who judge you. They have other control issues and all that, and resent you. But it's not going to be. It ain't too often that, especially around family members, that, oh yeah, you're supposed to be strong and smart enough to do the stuff that's potentially dangerous, and you can wind up in a hospital or worse, in the house, to do the shit that they want you to do, which is dangerous. Like maybe a couple of your wives out there, or your mother. Yeah, they want you to do that, and some of them, in some ways, they don't want you to get hurt. Depends, but yeah, that's risky too. Yeah, strong and smart enough to do what they want, but then, oh, anything you doing to better yourself, that's a thing you might get hurt in, and that's something that ain't right. And it's also a waste of time or whatever too. And then, like in households I lived in, and religion is part of it. That you do stuff. You got to do your work around the house. Plus, you have a job, and there's just no time for doing that. It's like, whoa, geez. Instead of watching television, I'm just doing this. But yeah, you're supposed to be strong enough and smart enough to do their bidding, right? And then what? Spend the rest of the time, every single minute of the rest of the time, which includes, it's not just Sunday, just your nose constantly in the King James Bible, and plus you're not allowed to question it, or find out anything else beyond it. Is that the deal? That sounds like the Vigilant Christian, but only the difference between the Vigilant Christian and people like them that think yoga is satanic and all that. The only difference between them and people like I lived with, and people like maybe a couple of you guys watching this may live with, the only difference between them and them is maybe in my family and some of maybe yours, like I said, I had family members that scream, swear, and chain smoke and have an ashtray next to the Bible, and then and then, yes, I'm not saying out of hate, you like them. Sometimes you had a lot of good times, but there's a thing where even you're my age now and you live with them, and if you say one wrong thing, somebody's going to get pissed. And like, you're not smaller where you can get slapped around anymore, but there'd be some things where they'll go after and physically try to harm you, and if they get hurt actually hitting you or something, you can be held liable, because there'd be a little bit of rambunctious in them still yet, or there's that thing in like my age now where if that doesn't happen, well, yeah, they'll get so worked up and get a heart attack, and then you get blamed for it too. Like some of us had mothers and different people that are like that, but I know people like, say, my mother, if she didn't go around, she pulled that card on me going, I'm all worked up, my blood pressure is up like this. And then she'd do the same thing when she's mad at maybe my stepdad, right? And come to me saying this, oh, what he did, he got me. Oh, great. But then, when I would get in some fight or disagreement with her about some shit, she would bring him into it without his permission, just speak on his behalf, and he'd just sit there and stare. And you'd think he'd say, oh, don't bring me into this. You deal with your conflict with him yourself. But he just sits there with this look on his face, rolling his eyes. But she'd play this card and say, oh, he's old. You're going to get him all worked up and make him have a heart attack. And I'm like, God damn, my stepdad's the kind of guy that the apocalypse could be coming, and he'll sit there and be all calm about it, and he'll joke it off, and she's the one that gets all worked up, And it's kind of rich. I mean, the one that gets what do you call it, worked up about the smallest things, and then tries to bring somebody into it that's like, you know, but yeah, like I said, I worked a temporary job when I worked for an agency, different agencies and all that, where they just need an extra higher hand. You're not going to be brought back anyway, and sometimes you get on with company and you don't, and you just get sent somewhere else. But I went to this one place that, like, I made a video about it, a bad video about it, but another example of how, you know, you're not going to be anywhere, so it's like to have a little bit of fun with some of the people that kind of like you a little bit, but then as a fuck you to the ones that you can tell that are saying things under their breath and whispering, you know, all that, and say, oh, did I do my things, the knuckle walking or knuckle push-ups or whatever. And you get some friends that are interested and some are opposite. But yeah, this was a place that actually sandblasted and painted some of the stuff for the Army trucks. And just because it's for military trucks, you got just normal people just like you and me. Like, I worked there for a little while. You know, there's a black guy that was a supervisor there, a couple other black and diverse group of people in white, and some of them more built than others, and you get a couple. There was, I know, a skinny little Christian dude that kind of swears and uses the F-bomb, and once in a while, a weird mixture like that, with skinny little arms and khaki shorts and yellow T-shirt and these skinny little arms, you know, dressing like he's perpetually 10 years old or something, you know, going for that boyish, submissive look. And then he'd be staring at me and laughing like he fell in that category that I guess it's okay. He's okay. You get Motley Crues everywhere. I mean, whether it's on YouTube or out in the world, but cross around his neck and all that. And yeah, it's okay to swear, which I do sometimes too, but he's like trying to appease some of them friends. But yet, it would be up his alley to watch on YouTube The Vigilant Christian and a bunch of different people, because he didn't like what I'm doing either. Who do I think I am? But he was playing the laughter ha 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 card. He ran a check on my name and, you know, Facebook and YouTube and all that, and he saw one of the trailer demos, which I was kind of improving on, and I heard it in the background on one of his smartphones. And while he's walking away with one of his other friends that he gossips with, walking away, and I hear the trailer jingle on there, and he's on ha 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 ha, laughing, and I'm like, "Oh, come here, do you want to share with me what's so funny? I mean, you're doing it and walking away. Would you like to discuss what you think is so funny and what is so wrong?" But he's a coward and wouldn't, so you know what I mean. I guess he needed to gather a few more buddies next to him to laugh to make me feel more intimidated, which never would have worked anyway. You know what I mean? Because I'm one of them people that do the shit in front of a bunch of people. Because like I have this thing where what you're seeing on the video, especially the walking on fists and all kind of shit like I'm doing, I am kind of advocating where if you want to do it in front of a bunch of people in a workplace to dispel kind of different kinds of pack mentality, and if you do this stuff in a workplace, it's kind of like a fuck you to them and shit like that. Yeah, you know, this is going to be like a damn half-hour long video here, so that's basically what I'm saying. But I think I'm going to make a slightly better video later, you know, in detail, dispelling all these. I was just covering all the different cards people play. I mean, I was originally going to make a video specifically about these people on YouTube and out there that are saying certain ways that you better yourself, whether it's yoga or strength training or anything, is evil, demonic, it's of the devil. I was talking about, okay, they're playing the different cards people play. The devil card, the it might be against the law card, even though it ain't. Oh, you should be afraid it might be against the law card. And the
Yeah, which goes on to the potential terrorist card, which we got to guard, against there. And then there's the laughter card, like it's silly card, or it's it's crazy card. What are people going to think? This ain't right. Maybe if it's crazy or silly, then maybe they'll grace you with the permission without laughing to use a legitimate weight sit, and they'll bitch about that too. But anyway, 25-minute video, long enough. This is it. See you next time.